Okay, here we go. Running Windows 10. I'm going to use a batch file that I have used on Windows 7, and this batch file will work on any version of Windows I've ever tried it on. This is my thumb drive. This is where I have a copy. I also placed a copy on my C drive, so I'm going to go in here and look at C drive. I put it into an apps folder just so I'd have some place it would be consistent with all users so that it could be referenced. Now, go in here and you can edit it. The key element is your set drive. In this case, I know that my D drive that contains all my files over here is going to be exactly what I'm looking for. Now, since I've already tried this, I'm going to delete this particular copy just so I can redo it for the purposes of a demonstration. Now, while the batch file can be run here, this is also set up to run in a task manager. Now, the only thing it's going to actually save to the destination on the D drive is going to be your desktop, all of your documents, and it will get your Internet Explorer favorites. And in this case, the way this one is set up, it could get data transfer, but these double colons keep it from actually reading that. You can have instructions or place instructions for other specific locations that you want to use in the future where you might enable them to do backups of. Likewise, you can turn off other items. With this particular one at the top where you're echoing the backup profile, that command will get all your three basics. You can change your naming convention or your destination where you set your drive up here. So if that was a P drive, you could set it to P drive. If you just want to call it backup, that's fine. Or you can say backup, and it could be a Dell E4300 or a 3110, or there's different. Name it anything that you like. Okay, I'm going to close that. I'm going to show you where I place this in the task manager, and so let's just go ahead and type that in, and we'll use task scheduler. Here you go. You can actually see where I have created the task right here. Now, in order to recreate it, I'm going to go ahead and delete that for demonstration purposes and redo it. I'm going to click over here on the basic task because there's nothing complicated about it. Let's give that just a moment. And first thing you want to do is just name it. In this case, I'm going to recall it back up again. Hit enter or click next. Daily works good. Set it for any time you want. In some cases, you might want to say start it up for noon. Oh, let's see. Get it in the right box here. And that's close enough. Who cares about 22 seconds? That would when I would typically go to lunch and I would want a backup to run. Simply hit next. I do want to start a program, so the default there is good. And since I could type that in if you know the exact path, but it's just as easy to browse it. Now, as you can see, I'm actually under the C drive in the apps folder, and from there is where I keep some basic programs that I've run or will install or may not install, don't know yet. I'm going to select backup, open it, or I could have double clicked it, it's just as well. It's already got pretty much the information. There's your summary of what we've got here. So you got your triggers, your actions, your name. Click finish. And that's it. You can pretty much do that in less than a minute, and the more times you do it, the faster you'll get at it. Now, if I go back over here to it, I can right click it and run it just to make sure it's functioning. But let's make sure. I'll go ahead and open this up so that we can see it as we're doing it. I'll lower this down, Come back over here, tell it to run it. And there it goes. It's just creating it. It's even trying to record my current screen capture. The longer it is, the longer it'll take. And these files can be pretty big initially. So we'll give it just a few. There it goes. That didn't take long. Once you do the backup the first time, it'll only back up files that need to be backed up. It's pretty much going to check by date and size. Whatever's changed, it'll do. So a lot of times it may not run more than 2 seconds. Sometimes it could run 10 minutes if you moved a lot of files since the last time you did a backup. And we're done. Close it out. That concludes this little demonstration.